Thank you to all the members for supporting my channel. Hi there. I make a lot of videos going over what a lot of people may consider what is the meta of Genshin. I talk about, what's strong, what's weak, but I very rarely ever talk about what is the best. And there is a reason for that, and the main reason is I feel like it's very hard to actually officially judge what is the quote-unquote best thing in Genshin Impact. And I want to get into all that, but the whole reason why this video got sparked up is because I recently made a video talking about Nahida. Now, in my opinion, I think Nahida is one of the best Dendro characters in the game. However, as a lot of my comments pointed out, recently another YouTuber named Jello Impact, which by the way, absolutely no hate to Jello Impact, don't know who they are, don't watch their content, I only just 3 days ago found out they're not a woman, so, can't really pass judgment on a person I know nothing about. They apparently made a video talking about Nahida and how apparently she's not good anymore, or she's bad, or whatever. Now, I didn't watch Jello's video, I only know what the comments said. I will say that a lot of the times when the comments say something, they might have read the title, or maybe the thumbnail, and then they'll just take that and run, and they won't actually listen to what you say, or sometimes they'll listen to everything you say, but then they'll hear one point and then completely ignore the whole rest of the video. So again, take this with a grain of salt. From what I gathered, he thinks Nahida is not good because other characters haven't come out to support Nahida since release. That is what I gathered from the comments. Again, haven't watched the video, take that how you will. It made me start to think, what actually is power in Genshin? What would we consider strong? And it took me a while to come to a proper conclusion that I can format myself properly in, so this is the conclusion I eventually came to. In Genshin Impact, there really isn't that much you can do to fully test the limitations of your characters and how strong your account really is. The in-game mode for Genshin, the Spiral Abyss, is the hardest content we currently have access to, and yes, it's harder than the Imaginarium Theater. The Imaginarium Theater is not a difficult form of content, it just takes a long time for you to actually be able to participate in it. Which means when we're going to judge the strength of our character, we're pretty much putting them up against what the Spiral Abyss has to offer. And while I have my own, let's say, grievances on how the Spiral Abyss handles its difficulty curve, I do think that it's still probably the best way to judge your character. That being said, how a person judges the power of a character is different from person to person. I haven't looked at meta content in almost a year and a half. Quite simply, I just don't have the time these days. Now that, I work and I go to school and I make videos, it's just hard. But from what I gathered from my time in the space, most people who make meta content consider whoever has the fastest clear to be the strongest. It doesn't matter how mechanically difficult it is, or if the characters on that team are less useful on other teams, or whatever have you. If this team can clear the abyss the fastest, they are the best, and the characters on it are the best without exceptions. Other people think the best teams for Spiral Abyss are the ones that can be built off the ground the quickest and get a full clear the fastest. Not necessarily, oh, I can get a 30-second clear on Chamber 12-3-3. I more so mean that if I were to start Genshin Impact right now from scratch, what team could I build and make it all the way to the end of Spiral Abyss and full clear it? These are teams like Hyperbloom, for example, very low investment, high damage teams where, yes, they may not be the absolute apex of the DPS charts anymore, but they're still able to easily get you a full clear. I know a lot of people like that. Me personally, I think the best team for Spiral Abyss are the characters who are most universal within any version of Spiral Abyss, while also being able to clear with the least amount of effort. For example, something that I have to say all the time, because I firmly believe it, I think Nuvalet is the best DPS in the game. He may not be doing the highest damage in all scenarios, like a character like, I don't know, Mulanni does a lot more damage in single target, so objectively she'd be the best in single target, but you'll never see me bringing in a Mulanni over a Nuvalet. Nuvalet is just so much easier to build, he does so much more damage, and he's more consistent universally than Mulanni is. I don't want to have to worry about if, is this Spiral Abyss going to be multi-target or single target? And when I go into Spiral Abyss, I'm just like, Nuvalet, fuck him up. There we go, we're done. That's the team I'm using. I'll Hyperbloom is another good example. Very low investment team, very easy to assemble it, and it does more than enough damage to full clear with my eyes closed. The beauty is in the simplicity. Spiral Abyss does not require an absolute metric ton of investment. You can go in and clear it with pretty much any character in the game, and me personally, the best characters in the game are going to be the characters that you can slap into almost any scenario and they're going to be able to quickly and efficiently deal with it. Characters like any Hyper Bloom team, Nuvolette, Arlecchino, Kazuha, Zillinen, these characters are really powerful and are pretty much universally applicable. With that all being said, what is the right answer? What is the most powerful thing in Genshin? How do we determine what is the best? And to that I say, you don't. It doesn't really matter. A long time ago, I used to watch these YouTubers named Jinjinx and Tuner. God rest their soul, they were fucking goated. And Jinjinx and Tuner, they had a motto that I follow now, and it depends. What is the best artifact for my character? It depends. What is the best character for Spiral Abyss? It depends. There's too many moving factors these days for us to really actively justify what the most powerful team is in Genshin, especially because, since, like I said earlier, Spiral Abyss is our main factor for judging strength, so it depends on whatever the Spiral Abyss buff is. For example, last Abyss, Mulaney and Kanich were really powerful, but they were Abysses made to sell these characters. Does that make them the best characters? Would you put them on a tier list and say they're the best because they get the fastest clears? Probably not. Some of you would probably still put characters like Nuvolette over a character like Kanich, even though Kanich was getting really fast clears last Abyss. Does that make Kanich better? I don't know, that's up to you. We can go even further. What's the best artifact set for my character? Oh, well, that depends. There's an objectively correct answer to which one will get you the most damage, but if your substats are dog shit, well then it really doesn't matter. Your rainbow artifact set might actually get you more damage than a full artifact set of what is objectively the best one. Or, who knows? You might actually value the full set bonus more than you value the rainbow bonus stats that you would get for just having better substats. Or, we can take this a step further. Let's say you have a full set. What do you value more? The energy recharge you get on your sands or the 3% extra crit rate you get on your sands? It really depends. Another one I like to point out all the time. Tartaglia International for the longest time in Genshin was considered one of the best teams by hardcore meta players. Now, I'm of the opinion that Tartaglia International was never a good team because it required some of the most valuable units in the game to make, and it required an intense amount of mechanical skill to pull it off right. Why would I use Tartaglia International and infinitely more difficult to play for a slightly faster clear time when I can instead break apart that team, put these more valuable characters on other teams, make 2 full teams instead of 1, and then get a 10-second slower clear much easier than it would take for me to use Tartaglia? At the end of the day, it really all comes down to playstyle. Another example I like to point out, in early version 1.0, Klee was the best DPS in the game, but she wasn't actually that much better than Diluc, and in order for Klee to outdamage Diluc, you had to do a very specific combo rotation. Now, you could use Klee, and she would, if played properly, deal more damage than Diluc. But a lot of people still use Diluc, because Diluc was easier to play, and the damage difference wasn't that big, so a lot of people just kept using Diluc. Now, I'm not saying all this to devalue what the meta players are doing, and I'm not saying all this to devalue the research and the time that they invest into it, because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the people that do that, they do it for fun, or they do it for their job. One way or another, they're doing it for external factors, because at the end of the day, this isn't really something you need to do. And if that's how they enjoy playing the game, then power to them. I'm not gonna fucking shit on them for that. I used to do that. But going forward, when you watch me, and you watch my videos, and I talk about what is the best, I'm not talking about what, this character is the objective best damage dealer in this specific scenario. I don't do that, because I think that's dumb. Because I think Genshin isn't really a game where you have to hardcore focus on what is the best. And I prefer that. I like this more over a game like Star Rail, where characters get absolutely dog stomp power crept after 3 days, and now you have to completely rework your whole team. I don't like that. I don't think any Genshin player wants that. I prefer what we've got going on right now, where you can pick your character, pick your playstyle, find something that suits for you, and easily go in and 36 star the Abyss. And there's still value in that playstyle and value in the research of what the meta players do, because maybe you're the type of player that wants to play as X character, but you want to play as that character to the best of your ability. There really is no correct answer on how we determine determine strength in Genshin. It just depends on the person. Trying to pull out a piece of chalk and draw an objective line over a scenario that doesn't need to have one is just dumb, in my opinion, and you're only doing that to try and start shit. I think the best thing you can do is just play the game how you want, enjoy the things you're doing on your own time, and let everybody else enjoy their own thing. That all being said, like, comment, subscribe. See you later. Peace.